Hey guys, welcome to another POV review. In this review, we have the 2020 Porsche Macan S. This is the Porsche Macan S model, so it's kind of the mid-range. You have the Porsche Macan, the Macan S, and Macan GTS. Of course, with it being the mid-range, you get the 3-liter V6 with 348 horsepower and 352 pound-feet of torque. Overall, I mean, the car is beautiful. It's very much redesigned from the previous generation. As you can see already from the back, you can tell we have a totally different setup with this kind of new design that Porsche is following with these lights. It's all one strip now, and of course, we have that kind of the 3D popping Porsche and lettering right in the back, and it looks really cool. And I like overall where they're putting all the badges and stuff. I think that Macan S really does belong there. It's not off to the side or anything. It's just in front of you. So I really like that. Of course, we have the quad exhaust because as you guys can kind of see a little bit into the exhaust system, we have some valves. So you can open up the valves in the sport mode. It'll sound much more aggressive. Of course, we have a newer redesigned diffuser on the back. Of course, that looks really good. I really do like that new design. As we walk around, as you can see, we have some gray brake calipers. I'm assuming probably with the GTS models you can change that up. It's a Porsche, so I can't imagine you wouldn't be able to, but I think for this spec it's fine. The overall body of the car hasn't really changed, and I kind of think that's a good thing. It's still kind of a more compact SUV, so I mean, obviously you can fit a family inside the car and stuff in the back, but I wouldn't say, you know, it's one of the larger ones. If you do want something larger, you can find yourself in a Cayenne, but this is a more of a smaller, easier, commutable car, not too bad. So as we walk around, as you can see, this is probably more customizable, but I don't mind this new texture. This is a very notable texture that was in the 992 911 in the interior, so I don't mind this. This looks actually not too bad. So it kind of follows the whole side of the vehicle. As we walk around to the front, this is one large hood. It's all one piece, so it starts obviously here and it follows through, so it's huge. It's like very big. So as we're walking around to the front, we have the new redesigned headlights. Not too bad. Of course, we have the cornering lamps inside. I wouldn't be surprised if this has the ability to turn the bulbs as well. We have an LED strip. I believe that is for the daytime running light. So yeah, overall I really like the way this thing looks. It still does look like a Macan, just, you know, more of a facelift if anything. So I really do like this, and for the 2020 year, I think this thing is really spec'd out nicely. Of course, I love the color. The color is fantastic. So of course, and one thing you might be able to see too is that huge sunroof that's right on top, right off obviously the roof line of the entire vehicle. It's all glass, and that's really nice, especially if you're kind of in the passenger seat and you look up and it's just all glass. That's wicked cool. So without further ado, what we'll do right now is we will unlock the car and we'll hop right in, and we'll just go through the features, and of course I'll show you guys the window sticker, and yeah. Of course, when you hop inside the vehicle, you're greeted with a Macan S right there. All right, so without further ado, we'll foot on the brake, twist the key. It is, of course, to the left like all other Porsches. I don't think that's something they'll ever change, ever. And of course, that is because back in the day, back in the race days, you know, to quickly get inside the vehicle, you had to put your foot on the clutch, put your hand on the gear lever, as some may call it, or the shifter, and twist the key at the same time. And that's kind of that's how a lot of people did it back in the day. So that's why Porsche hasn't moved the key, because they like that tradition, and I don't blame them. It's cool. All right, so sitting inside the vehicle, very similar interior from the 992 911. We kind of have this really nice cutout right here. It's such a weird spot for a cutout, but it kind of gives you the ability to see that shifter in the back, so or the paddle. So it's really cool, and I don't mind it at all. And everything feels just as high quality as it does in the 911. We don't have a flat bottom steering wheel. I don't know if that one did have a flat bottom steering wheel, but overall the leather is really nice. It's a nice hide of leather. It feels super good to the touch. This stitching is kind of not much of a contrast, but it does go well with the coloring overall. Very similar interior coloring as well to the 911. In fact, I believe the color is it's a gray and pebble gray. So not a bad interior choice. Of course, that's the split between this and this. I think this might be the or maybe this is the pebble gray. I'm not entirely sure, but either way, that's the combination between the two. When you spec it out, you can probably spec different grays with this. But yeah, overall, very, very similar interior. Of course, I think we have a little bit more to look at right down here. We have, of course, the cooled and heated seats. One thing I don't necessarily love is the shifter. For some reason, I kind of like looked over here at the plus and or the manuals side, and it's really, really weird that this is not on this side. It's such a weird thing to think and say, but like I promise you it's very unusual, because I was kind of just shifting and I was wondering if obviously it's going to say the what gear I'm in right there, if it's in park, reverse, or neutral drive, but I did not see this until like at least a minute sitting into this vehicle, which is very embarrassing. But yeah, that's kind of how that was today. So anyway, so yeah, so pretty much the same infotainment as before. In fact, these buttons are more they're moved up here, so you can kind of control through it. This is, of course, touchscreen as well. I don't think I mentioned that in the last one, but yeah, so the volume knob is right here, and to go through everything, if you don't want to touch the screen, some people don't want to do that, this is your best friend. So you can kind of exit out of everything with this back button, and overall very intuitive, very easy to learn. Did not take me very long as well. So yeah, so overall the interior is very nice in this car. Of course, we have the clock in the middle because this thing is spec'd with one. But overall, I mean, I really like the way these interiors are set up. Of course, if you want to scroll through all of the settings in this screen right here, you just scroll down like so, and of course you can get the navigation to show right there as well. Yeah, so overall, very, very interesting and very easy to learn. Of course, if you want to change the volume, you can also use this as well. But yeah, so of course we said Macan right there. We have a 12-volt power outlet right in the middle, 2 cup holders, very, very nicely sized as well. And it has some padding on the bottom, so I can't imagine that much would rattle inside of it. Inside here we have a USB 1 and a USB 2. The padding of kind of right here, the padding is really, really nice. The padding on this console is really, really nice. It sits very, very comfortable. I can imagine long trips in this would be very, very nice. Of course, we have our mirror controls, window controls, rear window, and one thing we'll do is, just because it has it, is I'll show you guys the feature. If you want to move the slider all the way back, you just press this one button right here. It's automatic, so you don't need to leave your finger on it. It'll slide that all the way forward. And just like to do reverse, press that, go for a full all the way down, and it'll go into automatic back. So yeah, that's really cool. Of course, parking sensors are right here. Very unusual. I think they ran out of space for them, or they really just may not belong. I wouldn't mind if they did something with these, but I mean, that's something everyone's always said since they've come out with this new kind of design for the buttons and everything. The one thing that kind of gets me is I wish they kind of just took some of these and maybe moved them down here. Not many people are going to notice all the buttons here, especially the way you're seated. It kind of just, they don't really show up as well in your face. They do kind of angle towards you so you can see them, but overall, I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to put some buttons down here, because there's a lot of empty space. But anyway, so what we'll do now is, of course, the car is on, it's all warmed up. We will put the car in sport mode. And as you can hear instantly, the car gets a little bit more aggressive, and we can open the door now. So we'll take it out of sport mode, kind of closes the valves. You can hear them close too. We'll open it again, just like that. So what we'll do is actually we'll take the car out of sport mode, close those valves, and then we'll give it a couple blips of the throttle, get you guys some good sound clips. Not too bad for valves closed. All right, so now we'll open the valves. So as you guys heard, we have the kind of the pops and crackles. That's awesome. I mean, this thing sounds really, really good for a 3-liter V6. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about 3 liters, but I mean, that overrun sounds really good. And for a stock exhaust, I don't think it's very loud, but I think it sounds really good. And nothing's too resonating, nothing's too muffled. From the cockpit, I can say that it sounds really, really good. So this seat is actually set up to my perfect driving setting, so what I will do is I'll jump to the back and kind of see how much legroom I have, and yeah, we'll I'm quite interested because I know it is sort of compact compared to the Cayenne, but overall, I've never sat in the back of a Macan, so we'll see what legroom is like. All right. So in the back seat, of course, I have so much legroom. We have heated seats in the back, and our window control is right here. If I didn't already say, we have the Bose audio system spec'd in this vehicle as well, temperature up and down, and we have 2 USB chargers, of course, for whatever your needs are for USB charging. We have a little fold down cup holder right here, and I believe you could probably fold this whole thing down, given that it's a Macan. Yep. And you can do a ski pass through, but with this white interior, I don't know, it would have to be in a ski bag or something to preserve this beautiful leather. But yeah, very, very cool. And as far as space goes, I will say it does feel nice. The head space is a little limited. I'm just at 6 foot and my head is kind of touching the ceiling, kind of. If I slouch a little bit, it doesn't touch at all, but if I kind of sit upright, I do find myself touching the headliner of the vehicle. Not too bad. If we sit in this middle seat, it is properly cushioned, and you can actually have a passenger ride here. And thanks to the sunroof, I'm not touching the ceiling as bad as the left and right. So, of course, if you have any tall riders, unusual enough, put them in the middle, and it should be fine. So, we'll jump right out. And we'll open up the back, and I'll show you guys the kind of the space we have to work with back there. So one of the things I really like about the Macan, especially opening up the boot, is they have a hidden button. I want to have you guys kind of guess, if you don't already know, where it is, because looking around, it's really hard to tell. I mean, would it be under the car? Would you swipe your foot? But actually, no. The button is right here, right on the wiper. You press it once, and of course it lifts right up. So that's wicked cool. All right, so inside the back of the Macan, of course, we have the floor mats for the front, and of course those are not in, they're right here. So if we open up, we have a looks like we have a full size maybe, or some form of a spare tire back here, all of the stuff. So there is a lot of depth to this boot, and that's really nice. Of course, if you're not running with the spare tire, you have a little bit extra room to haul stuff. Right here we have a 12-volt power outlet, and we have some netting if you choose to put something through there. It's all lined in really nice carpet, as most boots are, but so I can't imagine you'll have any rattling back here. Overall, I will say the amount of space back here is pretty good. It's I will say you're kind of limited because it does slope down a little, and you can definitely see that right here. It slopes down just a little bit, so the amount of space is a little limited, but it's not too bad, and it's definitely something you could live with, you know, for however long as you want. If you want anything bigger, obviously, like I keep saying, the Cayenne is a great choice, but for me, I love the Macan, and I love the size of the Macan. Obviously I drive GTI, so smaller is better for me, and the Macan ticks that box. So press that button, and of course it will go down as well. So yeah, so this is kind of just my quick overview of the Macan S. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully I answered a lot of questions, because I think I had 2 people asking if I was going to do this vehicle, because I know this vehicle was kind of refreshed, and I have been in a Macan before, and it was the previous generation, or the previous the pre-facelift or whatever, and I was very impressed with it. All right, so before I end off the video, I want to give a big thank you to Porsche of Stratham in New Hampshire for hooking this up. Of course, I want to thank in particular Eric for, obviously he's the kind of the social media guy. I reached out to him first, and he helped me get my hands on a lot of these cars. So I want to thank him in particular, but of course this whole dealership, because they've been so friendly to me. And overall, yeah, so I really like doing these Porsche videos, and if you guys want to see more, please let me know, because Eric and I will figure out something out, and we'll get another car for you guys. So anyway, thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.